Hey everybody, welcome to another Night Owl, where tonight it is a G-Man free zone. Hopefully you read the description before you came in here. How's everybody doing? What's going on? Hey Heavy, what's going on, man?
Oh, I'm tired. We had a busy day today. And I figured I'd pop in for a little bit and see what's going on.
Okay, well, yeah, nothing, no particular subject today, And we did our thing last night on toxic thoughts, which I think went well. That's on my YouTube channel there if you want to check it out. We did like 2 hours, and that went well, and then we hung out afterwards. All fair.
Oh, shoot, I'm on the East Coast. I can't stay up all that late.
I'm on the East Coast too.
Oh, well, you must be a lot younger than me.
Oh. Nah, yeah, I like that. Well, hence night owl. That's why I stay up late. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
So what was? Oh, sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
I just started. I just came in looking over new videos and stuff. Ran across Suzuki Das talking about oh, good grief.
Yeah, I was.
Pseudoscience, of the younger creation of pseudoscience and stuff. And I'm like, yes, you couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, I was actually. I got through about two-thirds of the video, and then I had to open up this room scheduled to open
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, thanks for sharing that. Even though I'm subscribed to him, I don't know, it didn't come up on my feed, but
Huh,
thanks for sharing that. Yeah, because yeah, he was in the was the question answer with Shanner, and he was talking about some of the stuff, and I think he was, and I guess that's probably what's come from there. Yeah.
yeah, and I checked out the two videos he had in the link. Those are really good too.
Oh, I didn't check out those.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I said, I didn't even get a chance to finish
Oh
hearing
yeah.
hearing what
Well,
he was
one
saying,
good
but
thing about this stuff, it'll be there later for you to check out again.
yeah. Suzuki, man, he's a good guy. I enjoy him in the Hangouts. He's a good guy,
Oh yeah.
very knowledgeable. You know,
So do you have a post to those YouTube videos, or do you have the links? Can you pop them in the chat, possibly?
The one Suzuki linked to.
Yeah, or the ones that you enjoyed, I guess.
Hey,
I got it heavy because I was listening. I was just listening to it. So here you go.
Thank you
I'll
kindly.
give you the links, Rob, to Suzuki's his video. He was that we're mentioning. He's talking in, and then
Yeah.
there's links right. There's links in the description box. Who he's referring to on
All
the
right,
video.
mate.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
kindly.
One was some people going to the Creation Museum, and one was some other stuff. It was pretty cool. It was a scientist, and it's like about an hour and something long. I'm gonna have to watch it later. The people going to the the Creationist Museum is not that long, but it was good. They caught some good stuff.
I
Sorry,
thought
that last bit. Yeah. Oh, pardon me.
no heavy. I don't think he heard your last couple seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Um, the first link is where some people go to the Ken Ham's Museum in Kentucky, and there are some gems in that.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh,
got it.
The second video is like an hour and something long. I'm gonna have to watch that later, but it looks
Hmm.
good.
so what's this guy?
Right.
This doctor went to the Creation Museum and what? Now you
Yeah,
got me so curious.
yeah. Well, it was a paleontologist and an actress and a couple of other people. And the paleontologist, they was looking. Well, if you watch the video, you'll see what they found and what they say. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Okay,
It's a short video, but it's pretty cool.
all right.
Hmm.
I showed
Hey,
it.
Prescott.
Oh, it's 3 minutes and 31 seconds. I wonder if we could. Let me see. I don't see. Still never done it here. We could play the video through here. It's only 3 minutes. Um,
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Let me try the YouTube app. Hey Prescott, how you doing, man?
I'm fine, Brojo. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Good. Hey, Heavy. Hey, Rob.
Hey there.
Hey, J-Dubs. Imagine you here. Now,
Hey, bro, what's up?
Hey,
Now-
J-Dubs.
are we supposed to
Hey.
actually acknowledge Skynet's presence?
Who's presents?
Never
No.
acknowledge it. It's going to take over the world one day.
Okay.
I'm trying to
Okay.
get this. I'm trying to get this.
Yeah, you do your thing. You do your thing.
All right, I'm trying to get the YouTube. I'm trying to get the YouTube app to work.
I know. Once you get it working, I'll shut up.
Yeah, I've got it open, but I guess I was just waiting for you to get it going. Or should I? I'm not sure. Keys.
Tweaking. Oh.
I put
Nice.
the link to the Creation Museum over there in the side. If that would help.
Oh, good. Thanks.
Yeah,
Ed.
no, I got to get it in the app so everybody can watch it at the same time. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I don't know if you could copy that and use it or not.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's the link I'm using. Difficulty.
So what are we doing here, guys? Bashing creationists, I guess.
That's it.
Okay, you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Oh, you see it? Do you see it on your screen?
I do.
I don't see anything and I don't hear anything.
Oh, click the YouTube app onto your left side of your.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
We're gonna play a quick 3-minute video.
Click the three dots down there at
Oh,
the bottom.
Brother John, make sure you have your screen share on so the people on the broadcast can on the outside can watch it too.
Okay, so I can put screen share and YouTube app on it at the same
Yeah,
time?
do screen share and
Uh,
I think you can. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. That should show up though.
Is that showing up or no? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I'll have to find your.
Oh, there we go.
That's Ross and Carrie. Visit a.
Yeah.
Oh, that's me. I think I did that, so I'll just shut that off.
All right, I'm gonna try this, guys. Here, let's see.
See him before?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe like 3 years ago.
Were you persuaded?
You guys see it?
I wouldn't call myself a creation.
Everybody's got it?
Yeah, I'm watching him, man.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
But I remember being taught evolution in school. I just didn't think about it.
What made me believe in creationism was the Paynes, who lived just across the street and were indoctrinating my entire family the moment we showed up in the neighborhood.
And so what about now?
Now I'm just a heathen. I'm one of those kids who got hooked on dinosaurs at age 4 and never grew up.
And how about now? You're a creationist?
Well, since my life work is basically studying evolution, I guess you could say the answer is no.
But this faith is a reasonable faith based on evidence. A blind faith, such as faith in evolution. Almost everything a geologist uses, of course, is discounted there. The Word of God is the only way to decide how old the fossil is. That's the only one that's real. The rest are fakes. This is no dinosaur track in the world looks like that. That's hand carved.
All these things remind me of Disneyland. I keep feeling like I'm on the way to the Indiana Jones ride.
Yeah. And they misspelled theropods in later as well.
Oh. So this may not be a display of great fossils, but it is a display of the best fake fossils.
Adam and Eve were the first people. Who did their kids marry?
They married their brothers and sisters.
Oh, okay. See, but everybody says these are arranged. I know it's sexuality. These are famous fakes that are made in Morocco. The real fossils are made in big slab that increase the value.
What do you have to say, Mr. Velociraptor?
How would a protein build those muscles and those muscles undirected?
Creatures that have them survive better than those that don't.
It's whatever makes the organism survive.
Yeah.
We know that even Darwin admitted that natural selection really was not a viable cause. I have now considered enough, perhaps more, that natural selection is incompetent to account for the incipient stages of youthful structures.
But is missing the part that follows it, where he then goes and explains how it is explained?
Let's see if I can get out of here now.
Misspelled theropod, fake fossils, and then only reading part of Darwin's statement about the eye, and they left out the whole rest of it where he went on to explain about evolution of the eyes. Jeez. Suzuki hit the nail on the head with that one, and those links to that video. That was good.
See, I have my personally. See, I have the whole debate, creation, evolution doesn't even, it doesn't even matter to me. There's no problem for me saying, God set into motion and things evolve. I mean, so the process is of no concern to me. But those who are dogmatic, they're going to be literalists. They're going to have problems. Yeah.
I think the bad part about it is, if you can kind of look at the story of creation, Genesis 1, and when you read it, it's a great read though. How it's almost like reading poetry or something, and you can look at it as maybe just a parable or something to kind of, show the creation, not in order or correctly, but more like just a way to kind of express the grandeur of it or something, like a parable or something. The younger creationists try to take science to explain the 6-day creation, and it just don't work.
That's right. That's right.
If they just would, just leave that alone and not try to put science in there, it wouldn't be a problem. I don't think. That's the part I have trouble with when they try to cram science in.
It's funny when that guy was there. He was asking him if Adam and Eve had kids. How who'd they marry? And so that guy was like, their brothers and sisters. And it was funny. You see a little kid in the background. I don't know if he's caught him with the hat, looking like he was like a little stunned, like. Murray, hey Gretchen. Hey Gretchen, I haven't seen you so long.
Hi, it's good to hear you.
Good to hear you too. How you been?
Been really well, thank you. Glad you're having this topic tonight.
Well, actually, it was kind of my fault. I just sort of talked about something I was looking at.
No fault
we
at all.
don't really have a topic.
Yeah, this is pretty open forum. The only condition is we cannot mention a certain person's name.
That's fine. I think it's fine when you don't mention someone's name. Remember, I come from Jewish background, so it makes a lot more sense to me.
Oops, I think I did something. How do I turn the YouTube thing off?
Whose name am I not supposed to mention?
Dun dun dun.
Then you have not been paying attention, Prescott. Did you not read the disclaimer before you came into this room?
I just thought I was going to outwit you. You're smarter than you look.
Thank you.
You really are a wise old owl.
I know nothing. I know nothing, and then in the end, we're all full of shit. We're all full of shit. We all want to be recognized some way or another, right? How do I get out of this YouTube thing myself? Can somebody help?
Click on your avatar.
Click
Down
on
at the bottom.
Wow, that was.
Click on anybody.
Yeah, I just figured that out because I was trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah, I did that the last time. I'm like, what the hell? I thought I wound up, reloading.
It's like, where's the off switch?
What's going on, Clayton? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
You sure?
Hanging out.
You sure?
I guess.
Okay.
I'm fairly sure. Now you have me doubting.
As long as you're sure, man, I'm all right with that. As long as you're sure. That's all that matters, right? As long as you're sure.
I guess.
What have you been up to?
I've just been working.
Cool.
Lots of working.
Bob, you all right there? You're laughing up a storm, huh?
Oh, no, just Gretchen. Amused me. I just got an image pop up about. Oh, she was using the app, the camera app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, with that creationist stuff, wouldn't this is this problem of sort of trying to deal with myth as if it was real. They do a lot better if they just forget the myth stuff and talk about experience.
Mm.
And the wisdom that's supposed to be in the book. But nah, they got to try and make the unbelievable real.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I hear you. I forgot. There's excuse me. Oh God.
You got to stop smoking, John.
Yeah, you should stop smoking.
No, I got to stop trying to smoke and talk at the same time.
No. Stop smoking. Hey, some of the atheists are into these vaporizers. You ever thought about that?
Yeah, actually, you get the most THC from those. I haven't used one of them in a while.
Sorry, what do you get?
I said I haven't used one of them in a while.
You're not supposed to fill it with,
Oh, you want vaporizer to clear my lungs out, or you wanted me to get high?
No, I'm talking about putting in a nicotine cartridge.
I thought you were talking about getting high with a vaporizer. Because that is the best way to do it.
Well, the guy that was using it said it was working well for him, and he was 2 weeks into giving up smoking, and I've got a daughter that smokes, so I'm looking for a way to try and an alternate way, because she won't listen to me, an alternate idea, and I thought the vaporizer might be a good idea. The guy seemed to think it was. That's why I mentioned it. But I'm not. I don't think smoking's a good thing either.
Oh no. I hear you.
Vaporizer's a lot safer. That's all. You're still smoking, but safely.
And that's what I was smoking and choking on here. Yeah. How old's your daughter, Rob?
37, near up. 36 going on 37 this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do people do that? I hate when people do that. They go, oh, I'm 36, I'm going to be 37. Really?
No, he said this year.
Yeah, so she's 36 now. She'll be 37 this year.
Right, she ain't gonna be any other age, is she? That's my point.
Well, yeah, well, no, actually, she'll be 38 the following year, and then after that,
Here we go.
40.
I was laughing.
Well, I hope she will be anyway. You know,
It's kind of like saying
plays out.
it's kind of like saying she's 37 now, but in 2 months she'll be 38. So you know.
No, she's 36 now, and
No, I'm just saying it's like saying that. You know,
oh, like yeah,
you're putting a time on when she's going to be the next age next year.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Indeed, I am. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, that's her, and you know, I'd like to see her give up smoking, but so far I haven't been very successful.
It's hard to quit. Trust me. I smoked
I've
since
done it myself.
I
I've done it
smoked since
myself.
I was 16 and quit about 8 years ago, I think. It was about 30-something years smoking.
So how did you give up? What was your approach?
I had a I had a flu real bad one year, and I was trying to smoke a cigarette, and I'd take a little puff and almost cough my lungs out. So that continued for about 3 days. So I figured, well, I've hardly had any cigarettes. Maybe I can quit this time. So I finally gradually tapered off and quit.
All right.
Good for you.
Circumstance.
Yeah, but I'm glad I did finally. Though.
You know,
But I do miss smoking though. I do. I get cravings at the weirdest times.
Yeah, I did too. Oh, sorry, John.
I was just to say, if I get flu or I get sick, I have no desire to smoke, and at that point I said, man, why can't I, not have this desire, without being sick at the same time? Because I have no desire to smoke, because I know it's just totally disgusting at that point. And like you said, you can't even, somewhat enjoy it, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, and you don't shake the craving though. It stays with you. Like I said, at the weirdest times, I go, well, a smoke would go so good right now, and it could be at weirdest times.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. So what have I been off them for? Possibly 15, 20 years now.
Oh, okay.
I could agree with that for probably the first 10 years, but not now. No, I'm pretty comfortable not smoking and no desire at all. Completely gone. Yeah.
Hey,
So,
Mark,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
long road ahead.
I'm sorry, just wanted to say hi to Mark. How you doing, Mark? Mark?
Hey, how's it going, John?
Are you cool? Yeah, I hear you.
I'm looking for my earphones here and my mic.
Okay, we'll wait for you. Good to see you here, man. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Got my off now, so I can actually unmute. Got so hot.
Hey, Rob, since you don't know who we're not allowed to talk about, you don't even know that person, I have 2 other words for you that are not allowed. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 wolves.
What did you say, sorry?
2 wolves.
2 wolves. Very windy here today. It's a true story, actually.
How's
We've got this strong wind. Sorry?
Isn't it the coldest day of the year there? Like it's the winter equinox, right? 2 days ago.
Well,
Summer solstice.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, it's a bit windy out. Jeez, we'd have like 3 feet of snow.
no, we don't get snow here yet.
It's a bit windy. Oh no.
Oh, you mate.
It's dead winter right now. The shortest day of the year.
Right, you got winter right now, right, Rob?
Yes, we are. This is winter high season.
Oh, so wait.
It's a winter solstice 2 days ago.
Right. So, actuality, right now, it's Christmas for you.
No,
Yes,
no,
technically
no,
Christmas.
no. We have Christmas. No,
Yes.
no, we have Christmas at the ordinary time of the year. You know, at Christmas time.
Well,
You
you're not
folks
doing
have
it the
got-
right pagan
you
way.
folks
It ain't
got
the
around
right
the wrong way.
I'm sorry, but you're not celebrating the right pagan way. You got it right over here.
Oh, you do you?
That's right.
All right.
It's it's
So-
the whole Jesus story right there. Guys,
Hang on, wait a minute. We do Christmas in the warm months. Wouldn't that be more appropriate climate-wise to the Jesus story? He wouldn't have been up in the hills and snowing, would he?
He would have been in the
I don't
desert.
know. I'm just guessing here.
So we sing "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas," and y'all sing "I'm Dreaming of a Dry and Dusty Christmas."
Well, I guess we're putting our songs together. I don't know what the story is, but
Well, what I'm trying to
I guess it's just what we're used to over time, what we were raised in.
We're the pagan.
Well, I think the theory is that based on the story, probably was May.
May.
In May, yeah.
Well, we
So
kind of
sit between the two.
But everyone knows why it's on December 25th, though, right?
But isn't it summer solstice? Isn't that the?
We call it winter
Well,
solstice.
the thing is, well, this is where you kind of get the pagan idea of Jesus. The winter solstice is happening when the days are getting shorter, and so right after the winter solstice, the days start getting longer. So our days now, we just had the longest day here in the Northeast. Now our days start getting shorter. Yours is starting to get longer. So now here you got Christmas time, right? Now the sun, I guess the way someone was looking at the horizon, the sun kind of stays in a spot behind the horizon for like 3 days, like the darkest days. Okay, just think of it as the darkest days that we have up to that point. So now when the solstice happened, the light is coming into the world. So you have this sun down 3 days, 3 nights, rises, and behold the light coming into the world. Brighter and brighter and brighter.
And then there's the other part of the halcyon days, too.
The what days?
The halcyon days.
What's the halcyon days? You mean in astrology?
Well, for Greek mythology, the river Delta, it would be calm at this time of year where it was right around that solstice.
Ah.
And so there was an actual bird that would be able to build her nest and lay her eggs during that time because it was placid, it wasn't moving. And then when the weather changed again, it would move and they would all fly away. And they did have a particular myth about it, and they called it the halcyon bird, but I think it's actually an egret. And so they're peaceful days.
Right, one of my hard drives are named Halcyon. And I named the other one Electron.
Oh, how sweet. That's cool. My first son's middle name is Halcyon.
I think I know what the problem is, right? It's pretty clear. The problem is this: is that there was only half a hemisphere for a long time until someone worked out that we actually lived on a globe. Well, actually, it was probably God. God probably completed the picture. So in the early days, there was just this dome, right, half circular dome, and that was the world. And so everything was in that hemisphere, and then God must have invented the rest of the globe. That's what I think. And so we thought we were an afterthought down here in Australia.
Yeah, nothing works for you down there. You don't have any myth.
We didn't exist. We just got created later.
Right.
Yeah. Dutch explorers discovered Australia in 1606.
And
there you go.
Amazing.
And that Aboriginal story, that's a fiction. Someone made that.
Oh, goodness.
What wasn't there a creation story, something about their god or deity or whatever sang the world into existence? Is that how it went?
Who's that with, the Aboriginals?
Yes.
How do they all go?
Well, golly gosh, no, I don't know that, but if that's
I need to look that up. Seemed like I heard that. That sounded so cool.
Well, if that's so, that's really interesting, because lately I've been thinking about John 1:1, where he says, and I've mentioned it probably to some of you guys before, but John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and then the Word was God, and the Word is God.
Yes.
And then the sonoluminescence phenomenon, where you have sound as the precursor to a significant heat event. So it's really interesting that you should say that the Aboriginals come up with sound.
I can say something about the Aboriginals too, as far as the didgeridoo. The tones that they play are actually intended to transport you into another plane of existence where you can experience other realities.
Right, it's your
That'd
meditation.
be the acacia field, and the acacia field relates to sound as well. So, you know, there seems to be, well, at least in my little world of study, there seems to be some real strong suggestions that they're all talking about sound as being the precursor, and sound being frequency, you know. So, and then if you drop into science, you end up with this wave particle debate, and it would tell you to choose wave rather than particle as the.
No, all the religions, though, they say God willed the world into existence, or God said this. They all say that. I mean, give me a religion that doesn't. We're not going to will it or say by saying it, will it. So.
Well, sound seems to be the common theme that's coming up here. So I'm rather curious now to see what the Aboriginals said, because they, you know, their culture goes back about 50,000 years, they say. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking that up and trying to find that, because I could have swore I heard that somewhere.
You heard the word.
One of their creation stories was that their deity sang the world into existence.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, you know. So
That sounds so cool, though.
Yeah.
Anything to the Om sound.
Yeah, that's what I just wrote about. That Om is how Hinduism begins.
Yeah, well, see, the acacia field apparently, or acacia is one of the fifth of the elements, acacia or ether, whichever way you want to put it. That's supposed to be associated with sound in some way. I don't know how, but.
Oh, you know,
And it's sacred too. It's considered sacred.
It's a tree, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How is it associated with sound?
Well, there's 5 classical elements, right? And I think this is from the Greeks, and they say that they're ether, fire, wind, fire, air, water. What's the other one? Fire, air, water.
Earth, air, fire, water, ether. Yeah. And the Greeks do, and so do the Ayurvedic medicine, the Hindu medicine, as well as the, well, Chinese does it a little bit differently, but they're all quite similar.
Yeah, so they're the 5 fundamental elements. And when you look at that phenomenon, which is scientifically valid, sonoluminescence, what you see is that those 5 elements arguably are all involved if you assume that Earth is the context the other 4 participate in. And the other 4 are sound, which is the sound that fractures an air bubble, which is air and water, and it delivers a very significant heat outcome, really quite significant. And it's so significant that it only happens in a very tiny fraction of time, but what it does is it pits steel propellers, and that's how we sort of worked it out, I think.
Is there enough people in here already?
Hey, Mark, you get your headset there going?
Yeah, can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3.
Prescott being
Can
funny.
you hear me?
I hear you. A little bit low, but I hear you.
Oh, all right, good. All right, I'm here.
Oh dear.
I'm still figuring out this stuff, how the chat room works. Truthfully, I opened a ton of different windows to get to the actual conversation. I was getting back video of you guys talking. And I thought I was in the conversation, but it was you guys. I don't know, 10, 20 minutes ago. I finally got you all live now, right? You're all live now.
Yeah, you're in the actual hangout. What you heard,
cool.
what you heard was the delay on the actual YouTube channel.
Yeah.
There's a delay from us to the channel.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm here. Welcome. Hey, guys. How's it all going? John?
Going pretty good. I can't complain. Yeah. I had.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just loving the days now. The weather, you know. Today was just a gorgeous day, and I was able to be.
It's crap.
Well, for you.
Totally,
man.
John. I hear you. I was outside. Last 4 days have been awesome.
Yeah. I got this one tree. I gotta find out what kind of tree it is, and the branches just go out, and it's kind of it gives you a little canopy. Like there's this little seating area, and it just started to bloom. And I don't know what they are, and they just smell so good. And it was just nice sitting under the tree. Felt like a Buddha for 10 minutes.
Is that in your yard? Is it nearby?
Yes. I'm very fortunate. That was one thing that for me, I was like there was a little stress going on early in the day, and then it was like just going outside and enjoying the view, and then just to be, you know what, stop bitching about what's going wrong and be grateful for what you do have, and and enjoy it, and
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, so that was a good reminder for me today.
Yeah, I've been gardening too. My first year gardening, I've been getting into hydroponics and aquaponics and all kinds of stuff. I'm thinking of starting a whole new YouTube instead of Deist Reality. It's going to be Gardens.
Reality?
Huh? No, Gardens of Distinction.
Gardens of Distinction.
It will be my new channel, hopefully, if I ever grow anything. That's what I'm thinking of calling it. Of course, the acronym. I'll still be talking all about God.
There you go.
Gardens of Distinction.
Yeah. Did you happen to catch? Did you catch the video with Shanna, the deist there? Did you happen to catch that, Mark?
Well, no, I haven't. No, I didn't.
Oh yeah, definitely see it. She did a phenomenal job.
Shannon, huh?
Shanna. Yeah.
Shanna always does a good job.
Yeah.
Shanna, I gotta look at that. Let's see. Hi, do you guys have a link to it?
Sure, I'll give you a link. It only costs you $1.
That's How many guys we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, including me. Is that how it works? You know, I keep thinking of the stick cam. Remember?
Yeah, stick cam. You had like I think 12 windows. Here with the Hangout, you get 10 people. But I'm also hearing now there's I think it was Roof. You told me there was an option to get, but you have to pay like $5 a month to get 15 people in the room.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the quality is so much better, isn't it, than stick cam? Remember how it was hard to everybody was talking over each other.
Yeah.
And for those who show their face, that's kind of amazing, right?
Yeah.
We get to see y'all, and let me see here. I can do that too. Wait a minute here. I usually do, but I've been gardening all day, so.
As soon as I get my shirt on. It's still too hot. I just shut off the AC, but it's still got to cool down. Then I'll get dressed. Then I'll turn my cam on.
Yeah, I hear you. You know, it's funny because I usually keep the cam on, but then you think of people who can record it later on, and all of a sudden here you are 10 years later looking at yourself saying all kinds of crap or stuff, right, John? That I ramble on about.
Right.
Yeah, but you talk good stuff, man. I enjoy listening to you. There's a link to the in the chat.
All right, I got it. Yeah. Oh, cool. I'll look at this. Yes.
Actually, I missed the first. I actually only caught the last half, so I still have to go back and watch the first half. So.
Now, how did you send it to everybody? Is that what happened? Did you?
I might have shared it with people, but you know, if you have any of them in your circles, the video should have came around to you.
Are you in any of the deism Facebook stuff? Do you do any of that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, but I've been avoiding Facebook a lot lately just because a lot of this bullshit drama and but yeah, there's what is it, deism for what's that group? Deism?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. Actually, it's amazing how much it's grown. As far as not as fast as atheism, of course, but there's a lot of sites, Facebook.
Yeah, I went on a couple of sites.
I think I'm on like 6 or 7 deism people.
But nobody seems to post much anyway. But I don't even, I'm usually not posting anything unless I'm responding to something, and then,
Yeah.
It's so out of control after a while. All this social media, people's posts. Sometimes you just, I don't know, it's time consuming.
It really is. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, how many people here are into the Zeitgeist or Venus Project? Are you into that, John, at all? I probably talked about this years ago. Resource-based economy and all this good stuff that's going to be coming our way.
Yeah. How's it going to come our way?
Because, it's going to come our way once people wake up to the reality that the capitalism, the free market, is destined to fail. So,
yeah, but you've got a major roadblock, and that's bloody the Empire trying to take over the world. You've got to sort that out first.
What is
Otherwise
it? What's taking over the world?
Hey, sorry, the Empire.
The what?
The Pharisees, they're on the move.
Oh, the Pharisees. Now, what would they be in today's language? What is a Pharisee in today's language?
You had to ask, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I know. King, presidents, and all these key. What's a Pharisee?
Okay. So
basically, wait. I'm going to put it bottom line. It's
all right.
The central bank. We got to deal. We have to deal with the central bank, the Federal Reserve, the Rothschild. Right. You've heard of these people, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear you. Well, these guys.
You've seen Zeitgeist. You've seen Zeitgeist, so you know.
Sure, I'm a big part of. I'm a big, huge. Jacques Fresco and I go. I visited Jacques, and him and I have had intimate conversations. I got some great footage of Jacques and I that I would have posted by now, but it's like talking to my grandfather. He says stuff that I don't think a lot of people can change it and twist it to to make him look worse. So that's why I haven't necessarily posted my interviews with Jacques Fresco. But I'm a big, huge fan of the Peter Joseph and the Zeitgeist and Venus Project. And I'm constantly promoting it, no matter whether it's a cashier. I'm constantly promoting a resource-based economy with people. Trying, and it seems hopeless for sure, especially when you're talking to the senior types who've already got theirs, and they don't necessarily they can't think outside of the box.
Yeah, and pretty much they're figuring, what, by the time it happens, I'm going to be dead anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean by resource-based economy? Like barter system?
No, like resource, the carrying capacity of the planet, calculating what we have, how many people we have, and what does it take to give everybody the basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing. And
okay, but we can't do that until we have like a one-world government.
Well,
because a country can't do it by itself.
Right. It's a global issue for sure.
So it
Yeah.
has to
So
be global.
what you've got to think about first, right? The first step is respecting. Hey, John, you said I couldn't use my two wolves, but it's true. Can I use them? Just quickly. Just quickly.
Go ahead.
Right. Here's the big problem.
That'll be the next chat. The two wolves free zone.
I'll be quick, and I'll promise I won't. I'll try to avoid it.
Bring Mark up
But
to
anyway,
speed. Go ahead.
Here's the fundamental problem, right? And this is it in a nutshell. The fundamental problem is, as humans, we have to understand those two wolves, but more importantly, we've got to. I think this is my view, right? We've got to learn what an ego is and how it's played out through history. All empires are fundamentally just a societal form of ego. Once you appreciate that, and you appreciate that the best way for humanity to go forward, so it's not conceptually hard, right? The best way for humanity to go forward is to, as an individual, start to value the idea of choosing to be a good wolf. And that means, you know, value being authentically selfless. Now, if you can get to that point, and in the process knock out the Rothschilds and the bankers and take back all the stolen resources, then you've got a good footing to move into a resource-based economy. Now, a resource-based economy is what's wrong with economics. It is really good because it really addresses the fundamental flaw in economic theory. Economic theory at the moment doesn't have as its cornerstone resources. So what that means is that we just keep going the way we're going. One day we're going to turn around and the cupboard's going to be bare. So we've got the problems in the Amazon, and we've got the problems in the, with fish populations. They're not going to last that much longer. So it's pretty obvious. And that guy Jacques Fresco, he's a cool dude. He's done a lot of the legwork and a lot of the thinking. But, you know, there's got to be a point where you actually get to application, and I honestly think that we haven't got any frigging choices left with climate change. We've actually really got to get together as a global community and start applying some of those principles, because they're the only things that are going to give us half a chance, providing we can actually solve desalination, because that's the big issue. You know, we've got to be able to manage effectively. Anyway,
if you get a global community together, wouldn't that? What type of global community is it? That would be the biggest issue, probably. I mean,
well, you've got to look at current state, mate. In any project, you always start with current state, right? So current state is that we're bloody empires, basically, and little pockets all around the world. So you've got to first work out, well, how the hell are we going to transition? Well, I think the transition starts with science. So first, the other thing, that's the reason I wrote my book, right? I'm telling people that belief's a load of bullshit. But what's got to happen is you've got to transition. You just can't go from current state to the ideal model. And there's a great guy, his name, oddly, is Jesus H. de Soto. He's an Austrian economist. He's already worked out a transition plan that sort of really deals with the current economic state and gets it to a bit better of a market-based model. And then while you're doing the transition, what you then do is you start implementing some of the strategies in little satellite communities so you can prove them, because let's face it, if Jack's...
Take care, Heavy. I'm sorry. Take care, Heavy. He's leaving.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been a busy day. I'm about burnt out. Y'all have a good one.
You too, man.
Night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, see you, Heavy. I'm driving him out of the room, John. But basically, that's... So you know, all the work's already there. You just need some sort of...
yeah, that makes a lot of sense, for sure. What you're saying makes a lot of sense. The work is there. It's getting everybody on the same sheet of music, and I think a lot of what people are actually saying is who is going to be the one pulling all the chains? Who's gonna be, you know?
Yeah, because it seems
governing.
Yeah, I mean,
we the people to answer that question.
Yeah, we the people, it's right. And with the internet and people, information at the click of a button, I think it's feasible now to do such a thing as the people, we the people, governing.
Of course it is. But you need a trigger event. You need a massive trigger event, and you got two, right? First one is climate. Now, regardless of what all of the anti-climate people say, you can't avoid reality eventually. Hey?
Conservative Christians, for the most part. Here in America, those are the key people who are totally like, there's no such thing as climate. Here in America, anyway.
I've got a strategy for them if I can bloody get people to read my book, because I really, and it's not a harsh one.
The Christian, I mean, that part, Mark, I think is just that part of the problem. I mean, you know, you also have the whole, you know, for-profit crowd, the greed. You know, I don't think anything's going to change, even to get into this transition period, unless there's some kind of massive...
Well, you know, everybody is protecting their own. Like the Walmarts and all these rich people, they're there. They want to stay there. They want to keep that comfortable living. They're just like you and I, but on a different scale. I don't think there's any big conspiracy. I think nobody wants to take, like the Bill Gates. If Bill Gates could only just say, you know, I would go for a resource-based economy if everybody else does. I'm all for it, but until people are all for it, I'm just going to live the capitalist, the awesome capitalistic mindset.
Well, this resource-based economy isn't possible today, so there's no point.
Well, it could be possible if we all said it together. If we all said together, let's change the system.
Well, there's two elements.
The whole world.
That may sound, yeah. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, it's like an asteroid heading for our planet. If we don't do something quick.
But that's what I was saying, Mark. I mean, nothing short of a massive awareness or awakening is going to bring about this kind of change. I don't, you know, because we're dealing with so many people's egos, you know.
Right.
People want to be in power and control. It's part of human nature. And unless that's put into check.
Yeah, but John,
we have the second coming of Jesus Christ.
What if those people knew, like let's just say whatever elite person you could think of, knew that there was, because ultimately they're going to have to defend their castle, no matter how rich you are, and here the whole cycle goes again. You know,
they still need people to work for them.
I think it's going to happen. Like, I think we're going to see some amazing stuff coming our way, like within 10 years, 5-10 years.
Nah, mate. If you leave it that long, we're going to be in real trouble. Here's the situation in Australia, right? We're already 14 years ahead of the climate projections, and that's probably a global phenomenon, but I can only talk about the Australian context. But up here, right, our cane crops were affected by excessive heat, and the farmers are saying it's going to take them 3 years to recover, you know, the economics to continue to actually be a viable activity. Well, you know, and that's guys that aren't even buying into the climate debate, but the climate debate says no, it's not going to let up, it's going to get actually worse. So if that's the case, just imagine a food crop failing within the next couple of years. That's pretty significant if that plays out.
We'll have to move off the island.
Huh?
You'll have to all move off the island.
Well, I'll be off to Tasmania. It's colder down there. But it's not as complex as anyone seems to make out. It's pretty basic stuff. Fundamentally, you can't tackle the big infrastructures. That's like the hard outer shell. That won't move. What you got to do is get into the soft underbelly. Well, that turns out to be religions, basically, and all this belief stuff. So if you could demonstrate somehow, because there's a lot of people, there's a growing sort of discontent, I think, with religions. If you could somehow demonstrate the flaws in those religions and really call them to account, what happens in that process is you actually stab it in the soft underbelly, and it really pulls the wool from under their eyes. under their power rugs. Now, my risk.
I think a lot of truth you're saying right now. A lot of truth going on right there.
Did a bit of work on it, mate. So I've written a book.
I could tell. Yeah. Well, what's the book? How do I find this book you're talking about?
I'll give you a free look at it.
Yeah, let me get that, because you're saying a lot of awesome stuff for sure.
But it's not awesome, mate. It's just common sense, really. At the end of the day.
For us, maybe for all of us here, but to get at the underbelly, I mean, for me, it's just a look at the Bible's not a bad book. It's just people's interpretation of it, and I think a lot of people are showing that.
Yeah. But that's key. That's an important point you touch on there. You can't. It's not a. See, at the moment, when you have take the atheist movement, right? What they do is they just basically set up another division, within society, and they make it polarized, right? But that's not the way to deal with it. What you do is, because these books have got wisdom in them, they just do.
Amen
right?
to that.
Valid wisdoms, right?
Totally.
So what you do, you sort the wheat out from the chaff. You get rid of the miracles and the prophecies and all the bullshit, and you say, hang on a minute, let's just push that aside. It has no basis that we can know in our reality. Let's ignore it. And let's look at what's left. And what's left turns out to be quite valid and quite useful. And it says one very strong thing. It says, love thy neighbour. All of the books do.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's better to be selfless than be selfish. So that to me is the soft underbelly plus climate change. They're the two power players at the moment. If they can get some decent airplay, but there again you've got a problem, right? Because the bloody rich guys own the media. And that's the nut you've got to crack. But if you can get that conversation out into the people know this stuff. They instinctively or intuitively know it. So when you speak it, they will say, "Oh, of course, makes perfect sense." And that's the kind of catalyst that will sort of lead to the change. But there's a problem. And of course, as always, it's the human. Can we actually handle the change? Can we handle it without chaos? But anyway, there you go.
As far as religion goes, meaning binding together, grouping together under a common understanding of whatever this force is there a right religion? Is there a path of understanding the infinite that is in complete harmony with the life that surrounds us? And of course,
yes, the answer is yes, absolutely.
And what is the word for that? Is there a simple word for that?
Two wolves.
No, the word is deism. The word is
Well, it doesn't matter. It's better that you don't own it, mate.
Well, I know. I hear you there, but people that's all we have is our vocabulary. Is all we have to speak. So
No, you're wrong.
I mean, how do you get up in front of a crowd and talk to people and not talk?
No, hang on a minute. You're missing a very important point. It's called reality. It doesn't matter how people can use whatever they like to describe their reality. So you could leave a Christian be as long as they're prepared to ditch the falsehoods, right? And they're prepared to make that adjustment. A deist is Christian. A Gnostic Christian is what I would.
Oh, let's not even go.
What did you say? A deist? What? A nasty Christian? Come on.
No,
you'll find if you actually took the time to have a decent discussion that you'll always, and this is, John, this is why I was saying it's important to, I don't know whether I've had this discussion with you, but the way our minds are structured is this, right? Two primary functions. One's about sensorial input coming in a continual stream, and the other's about the controller, the thing that uses all that stuff to do stuff. That's the brain.
Interpret.
Now, if you can have a discussion with people on their belief or on their theism, because I don't even like the word belief, and say, well, tell me about your experiences that validate your story, right? In that experiential exchange, you cannot help but agree, as long as people aren't lying, right? But if they're telling the truth, you'll find it'll ultimately always agree. Can't be any other way. So when they talk about love or tear of joy or, you know,
an example
all these special things. Sorry?
Give me an example of that.
What?
Of what you just said. People will always agree as long as they're not lying.
So what I'm saying to you is in the sensorial world, right, so that's the 5 senses, in that world, right, there cannot be anything but agreement except for a situation where someone has a physical disability that impairs the registering of that sense record, right? So it's like saying this, right? In the moment, without the thinking brain in play, that's the place to find all knowledge about reality and agreement, and an absolute agreement.
That's where you find all knowledge about your reality.
No. It's an objective measure. It's not a subjective measure.
Who's objectively measuring reality?
Hey?
Who's objectively measuring reality?
Well, what's happening, if we got 1 million people in a room and we got them to do a pinch test, they'd all, through their sensorial evidence, validate the pinch does what it does. Some people might be a bit more prone to, you know, might be pussies, and some might be a bit braver than others, but they're known variables that we could actually, you know, explain. So we're still in the realm of knowledge. But nonetheless, people will say that if I pinch myself, I might go out. That's reality.
You get a bunch of people in a dark room pinching themselves, and you'll have a different story from everybody.
Why? Explain yourself.
When you can't see things, you don't know like who's pinching you. You don't know if you got pinched or bumped or elbowed or whatever.
You're trying too hard, mate. No. If you turn the lights off, they still report the same thing, as long as they were the ones that they followed instructions and pinched themselves and not raced around. And, no, I think you're trying a bit hard, mate.
You mean everybody pinches themselves?
How are you gonna have the only thing they're gonna be in agreement of is pinch, you know, but there's not gonna be agreement as far as the experience of that pinch.
No, and you can't extrapolate that pinch to
some people love pain. Some people love pain. You know, some people think of, you know, I don't get that. I don't get the whole thing.
John, you made a really good point, that they'll report differently, but that's reporting's coming from the intellectual mind. It's not coming from the sensorial experience mind. Right? So once it crosses over, once the senses are in, right, and they only occur in a very small moment, then we will rely on things like reflection or recall to relate what has just happened. Because in reality, there are only minute time slices that keep passing us by. That's why the religious dudes go for this meditation, you know, where you shut your thinking brain down and live in the moment. And you see that continually referenced in a lot of the real text. So, you know, it's simple. Well, it's not complicated. I think that we overcomplicate it by trying. Oh, and I tell you, I just reading on this, there's this dude called Descartes. I think, and he went through a Jesuit education, and he concluded, I think, therefore I am. I think that's a fallacy, and I think I'm even wondering whether it's not a deliberate spanner in the works, you know, to confuse us all. But
no, you have a problem with that statement, I think, therefore I am?
Hey?
You have a problem with that statement, I think, therefore I am?
Yeah, I do, because I would say it's better that I say I am that I am. So what that means is that I am based on my experience, that I am, or you can even use that to say, when I look at my fellow man, that is who I am, because from
if you couldn't think, would you be...
It requires thought, though. It requires thought.
Yeah, it requires thought. Like
that
if you
requires thought.
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you?
But I know so.
No. I can experience things without thinking about them. If I touch this, I don't have to think about it. I can still have that experience.
But there's still a thought and process.
Well, the thought would be collecting all that information, and then I get an interpretive reality. But
At that point, you're not thinking. You're not thinking.
Sorry.
You're not thinking when you're.
Sorry, I was just not thinking for a minute. Then what did you say?
When you're having sensorial experiences, I mean, there's got to be thought involved.
Here's my thing. It's a really fine line, but what I'm trying to demonstrate in this, look, there's a neurologist video. I should share it with you guys. But see you, Ruben. But all I'm trying to say is that if we had that as a measure, right? Let's say, right, everything that I can sense, I'll use that as my technique for knowing whether I'm talking reality or bullshit. And then when I find something that I cannot put into that frame of reference of knowing or sensorial experience, so I'm going to include knowing deliberately, because there are a few important exceptions. But if I make that my generally accepted rule of measure, and then anything that sits out there, I put a big bloody red stamp on it and say this is a belief, you know. Well, it hasn't been validated. And then I went and got the Bible out with my red stamp and went through it and said, but no, can't validate that. What I'd be left with would be good and useful wisdom.
Okay.
I disagree, but you know that.
Hey,
what's that?
I disagree, but you know that already. We've had this discussion.
Oh yeah, but you know I finished now, mate. So away you go. Let's get into it.
Again.
Yeah, again. Hey, listen, I have learned something too, Gary.
Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I like that saying. I think, therefore I am. I'm a thinking person, so I must be here. So that involves. And when you contemplate how you got here, it always ends up to this infinite force that the billions of us call God. So I think, therefore I am I like that. I like that whole thing.
Well,
and I also
I'll
like
give you.
I am that I am. I like that as well. I mean, I could deal with that definitely.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, I think what Rob is saying, there's a lot of truth to it, but you get too deep. There's people that are just want to feel that this power that all of life comes from is a part of their life. And Christianity, Islam, Judaism brings that to people. But you always have to go through people to get, ultimately, with all these sacred books, you have to go to people to get the so-called Word of God.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can give you a counter, an answer. Sorry.
Rob.
So what I'm saying...
Sorry.
Yeah, so these people, billions of us, they want to feel a need to be one with the Creator of all. And that's where you got to get, that's how you could bring the Venus Project Zeitgeist movement. I think you can, it really is a spiritual, granted they're all atheists, self-professed atheists that are a part of it, which is an amazing phenomenon. I think that the people who are getting it right are the atheists and the agnostics that are really the ones who are going to be the saviors of the planet. They're the ones who are thinking outside the box instead of keeping up with the conservative view.
I got a question here from you, Mark. And I know there's a lot of I mean, we could throw around criticisms against religion all day long, right? And rightfully so. But the issue is here. I think as long as we I think we'll have to find some more common ground. And that common ground, I guess, that deists do share with theists, is a belief in a God creator. We just see it differently. And I think to that point, we need to build upon that kind of foundation without continuing. And believe me, there's a time and place for debate and all that stuff. But if we continually have the mindset of attack, and
right.
they're hearing it, they don't want. It just builds up more defenses.
Right. We keep fighting. We keep arguing over over
Right.
the silliest things. We keep always going back to the book, but as pure deists, and again, I've said this before, we all of us ultimately believe that we all come from something, and whether you want to recognize this something with an honorary title, or you just want to not give it a title, like most atheists, they just, I don't know where we come from, yet we know we come from something. The deist, for me, theism is all about a faith that the Creator plays a conscious active role in your life. Deism is a path of understanding this force. Atheism is denying that this force is playing a conscious active role in your life. You're putting an A, again, we've talked about this, you're putting an A in front of theism, you're not denying that we come from something, you're denying that this something is intelligent, you're denying that this, and you might be right about that. That's your faith in the matter. If we can all put down our faith.
Oh, sorry.
If we
I
can
was
all
just
put-
going to say.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say there's another place to go, you know, and that's the title of the book. What's this thing called God? And that's the critical question here. I don't think anyone has a clue, in reality, beyond belief, about their God thing. Yet when you look at the Gnostic Jesus, he gives you a very clear insight to what it is. It's inside us all, so it's not an external reality. And that gives you, you know, from that basis you can launch an attack, which I did against the, you know, this idea of an external God being a reality. And I found that Cyrus the Great was the emperor that, and there you got your emperor again, was the one that created that fictional notion. Because before them, the Canaanites.
We're going off on a tangent here, Rob. Now, come on.
But it's not easy, mate. It's not easy to deal with it. But I'm not really going off on a tangent. But what I'm saying is very clearly is that the middle ground is experience. That's the one undeniable reality. People will not diverge if they're honest in experience.
I disagree.
When they get into no mate, hear me out. When they get into beliefs, then that's when you're in big trouble in the thinking mind sort of world. So a tear of joy that's shared across religions, there's no bias there. Love, authentically experienced, there's no bias or no variation. Only in interpretation, not in reality. Sorry? Sorry, mate.
You can't extrapolate a few cherry-picked points to all experience.
Sorry, just say that again, mate. I didn't quite hear it.
People experience reality very differently.
No, they interpret reality differently. There's a big difference, mate.
And they experience it differently too.
No, not unless there's a knowable variation. Give me an example.
I proved it to you last time.
Well, no, go on, do it again because I forgot.
Hear it.
Sorry.
Let me hear it, Yuri.
No, everybody has different experiences, depending on their different whatever.
But Rob's talking about throw away the brain part of it and just the sensory part.
I'm sending this link to Rob just so he gets an idea what my take on the Bible is. I know John has seen this video. This is my take of the Bible in a nutshell. That video, you don't have to watch it, but I'm just for future time when we talk. I'm not promoting myself with the YouTube. I'm just trying to say.
That's okay. No problem.
You know, I don't mean to. But for you, Rob, in your take on Christian, I don't know, do you give yourself a title on religious matters, Rob?
I'm not sure what you mean by the question. Can you try?
Are you an atheist, Christian, deist, agnostic?
Yeah.
He's an
anti-ego because I see people as all equals. But if I have to wear a hat, I'll call myself an anti-egotist. Meaning that I think that ego is the root of all problems for humanity, and people should avoid it like the plague, just like they should avoid beliefs. So that would be.
You know, Rob,
in doing that, just want to make one final point.
Go ahead.
In doing that, you actually get to know what this God thing is. So I'm not denying God, the God reality, but I'm just saying that the way to understand that God is through experience, not the thinking mind.
Rob, what would Thomas Paine or Benjamin Franklin or any of your Australian leaders, what would they be without their egos? Or trying to I don't understand. Sometimes I get confused with the ego. Because sometimes I'm not sure it's a bad thing.
Don't ask.
Oh, okay. Let me explain. Because you're...
Because Thomas Paine, I feel he had a huge ego as far as, you'd have to be to move to get anybody to move. Don't you have to have an ego to...
No.
I guess I don't understand the ego too much anyway, I guess.
No, well, I was just going to say, here's my explanation.
I heard a good short explanation of ego is I was reading in a book on Taoism, and it said the ego is I want what I want when I want it, and when I don't get it, I hate it. I want what I want when I want it, and I hate it when I don't get it.
Well, no, John, what an ego is, it's very. I think I found exactly what it is, and it goes back. Here we go again, the old two woolies. But if you look at the evil wolf, it's really about, and this is the Cherokee's rendition. But if you look at what it is, it's all about behaviours that are associated with looking after the personal advantage or the self. Right? Now, if you look back in the animal world, we've got some models that really reflect that ego behaviour that we see in the human world. And they are the baboon community. They're the best ones, and I'll share that video. Because what you see...
that video. Yeah, I know the story.
Yeah, you know.
But,
you know.
But we're never going to get rid of the ego, though. I mean, let's deal with reality. Isn't reality is that we do have an ego, and we're not going to rid the world of all ego?
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, Rob. How could you get rid of the ego? I don't get that.
Oh, okay. I can explain. The Dalai Lama said, right, if we could get 8-year-olds to meditate, and so introduce young people to meditation, his premise is, now, I'm not saying he's right, wrong, or otherwise, his premise is that within one generation, the world would have peace. I think his meaning in that was this. Because meditation is important, as well as being authentically selfless. What happens when you actually become authentically selfless? It starts a feedback loop of its own. And it's a very powerful reinforcing loop. And that's what we saw in that baboon model, or that baboon study, John.
Do you know that
what happened?
Bob, if you're a good wolf was totally selfless, it would die. It would die.
No, not necessarily. Here's the model. Let's look at the evidence. Let's look at the evidence, right? The evidence from that baboon community said, because what happened is the alpha males got poisoned at the trash heap, so they no longer existed, and the herd behaviour changed to more of a, the community-minded, equal society type of thing. And what happened is, and this is the study, the group persisted with that model through time. Even when young male members came into the community, they actually persisted and changed. I think it took about 6 months for those young males to lose the traditional baboon theme of trying to climb up to the top position and get all the sexual favours. So it did actually play out that the community stayed in the preferred peaceful paradigm. And that's a very telling thing. And for me personally, I can relate to my own experience. Now that I've sort of realised these things, I'm much, much, much happier being the selfless individual and being more thoughtful about the people around me than I previously was. And I can't at the moment see any disadvantage of being, letting go of the selfish stuff.
I'm taking it to the extreme, I guess, because I don't know, in how I see
it's an experience, mate. You've got to experience it.
Yeah, well, Rob, I think it's great that you're there, but how do we get millions of people there like you're there? Selflessness. you know, I think it's great that you're there.
Yeah.
Rob's gonna do it.
I hope you can.
Well, I'm trying. That's what the
I
book's
can't wait to see your book. I got the link. I'm going to look into it.
He's got the book, yeah, and that's the first step.
Is that the book? Is that the PDF, or do I got to buy the book as well?
Oh no, I gave you a free read, mate. Now that's an early one, and I'm not the best writer in the world, so I'm a bit short on the literary skills, but I'm very comfortable and confident with my research conclusions. And fundamentally what they are is basically that the empire screwed with religion starting with Cyrus the Great, and that's been a continuing story right up to today, although I only go up to Constantine in book 1. So.
Hey, Wolf. Sorry, I didn't say hello to Wolf. I'm sorry. Hey, Wolf. How's it going, man?
Hey, John. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
I'm fine. Pretty great. Can't complain.
Good. Yeah.
I think it's great, Rob, that you got a book out there that's trying to do that. You've got a passion for that. It's inspirational for me to even.
That's what I said.
You know, I think it's great that you have. I can't wait to look at it. I'm excited to put it on my iPad and have it there and read it in some quiet spot and know that I'm talking to the author.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Here's the thing.
I'll
give you a
religion.
I was just going to say, I'll give you a short run through. Basically, what I did is, so I saw the Rwandan massacre. That was the starting point. That's what triggered the interest. Stumbled across the Gospel of Thomas, read the whole lot of it. In the book, I actually put an interpretation, because he does say that you have to interpret it. So I interpreted the whole 114 sayings, because that's all you get. I found them to be valid philosophically, and from there that raised the question, well, what the hell's the church doing? And that led to a conclusion that there are 5 specific corruption events. So I go to those in a bit more detail, explaining how the religious story was corrupted by empire.
Have you been reading Bishop Sponge and Edmund? What's the other guy's there? Do you know Bishop Sponge at all?
No.
I'll have to send you that link. He's doing similar to what you're doing right now, but it sounds like. And who's the other guy? Bart Erdman. Bart Erdman.
I know Sponge.
Yeah, Bart Erdman, I know. I've had him on my mail list for a bit, but he keeps ignoring me, and I'm a bit sus of him.
And Karen Armstrong. Do you know anything about Karen Armstrong as well? These seem to be people, and I don't want to put Neil Donald Walsh in there as well, but you know what? Him as well. I think all these guys are trying to get the Bible, which is our book as well. It's all of our books. We have a right to interpret it any way we want. Just as
not my book.
Else.
It's not my book
Could
either.
be. Could be. You know, it really could be. There's really a lot of there's some good stuff in it, and just because people have the wrong interpretation of it, we shouldn't scratch it off our list. I think
there's some good stuff in every book, though.
Really
right.
Well,
exactly.
you could learn about the history and philosophy of like a certain culture through a holy book, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'm sure. But you know what? There's some mythos and logos in in these books, and for me anyway, I'm not saying you got to read them and stuff, but for me, I find inspiration in them, deep inspiration.
Yeah, and that's correct. You've hit on a really important point. See, right through history, these religions have been used as a precursor to war to divide and conquer, and it's actually going on right now. That's what's happening if you look across the way Islam's being profile.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. So, but to throw it out and go against the people, that's a huge mistake, because that's exactly what these people would like to see happen, people fighting amongst themselves. What you've got to do is look beyond that and recognize the quality that's still in the book, so that when you approach, a theist, you at least acknowledge that worth, because then you're not robbing him. He's got something left at the end of the day. But what you then say is, look, there is corruption. Let's talk about that. you know. But hey, I acknowledge through personal experience what you're saying. And that's what I mean by personal experience is important, because when we talk about the things that inspire us about life, about these mysterious things, the mystery of God, if you like,
yeah,
we find common ground through our expression of our experience, not our beliefs. And then we have respect for each other,
right.
and then we can turn our attention on these buggers that are feeding their bad wolf or their evil wolf insatiably. They just want to power and they want to run the whole world.
Right, and once they learn that there's no real need to run the whole world, that we can all live under the same, we can all literally live with the same stuff. We don't have. I don't think.
Correct. Correct.
You know
You're
what I'm
right.
saying? I don't know. It's
Those
hard
two
for
wolves-
somebody.
Well, those two wolves are in those arseholes as well, mate. They are. Just got to convince them.
Well, and the way to convince them, I think, is to show when people start to, when they have this big house that they can't find anybody to help them take care of it, they're going to come to the where the resource-based type people. And I only use that because I lack a term for, those who are living simply and happily and traveling all over. We're doing the same thing, but we're not having the same burden of all this house and all this stuff.
Yeah, well, in my appendices, I actually got into that area, and I put up an ideological sort of model for transitioning and starting to move to that new world that you're speaking about. And I think, there's a case for it. I mean, in Australia, one of the huge advantages we have in Australia is we have this massive amount of desert area, right, underutilized. Now, the world's probably, stretching, she's right at the limits in terms of population.
Well, excuse me, Rob, really quick here. I was just watching a TED Talk where they're literally growing food off, I don't know if you guys seen this, off plastic. It almost looks like saran wrap. They're growing like huge. They're doing it in the desert, and they're doing it, and it's quite amazing where they're turning, like you're talking, this desert literally could be farmland in the future.
Well, it can be more than that, mate. You can turn it into city satellites. I mean, one of the ideas I have, I'll give you an idea, right? And I think it's economically viable. So I'm 60. And I'm living in a house which is worth about 400k in Aussie money, and it's mine. Now I'm looking at going into a retirement scenario at some point. If the government of Australia, or whomever, or the people of Australia, because they're the ones that really should be governing, if the people of Australia decided, right, we're going to solve desalination as an issue, we're going to build a city, and we're going to give that land to retirees as an inducement to get them to come and retire in this new community.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put a university in there dedicated solely to just the new.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's
now,
great.
Not only that, you can extend on that because you can take all of the prison communities, make them friggin' self-sufficient, right? Make the buggers work for their living and make them more monastic. Create a two-tier sort of prison system. So leave the existing one in place as a major deterrent, but have a more of a monastic self-improvement model, self-sustaining model. Whack them out into the desert community. Take the costs that are incurred for that and pour that into your new city development. So you're starting to see how we're raising the funds for it. Do you get the idea?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it sounds like a great plan if you could get other seniors who are driven to.
I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
I would go to Australia and have whatever savings I have to go to some community like this as well. It could be a global thing to go. People would probably call it a cult type thing, but I would be not people. My loved ones would say, "What the hell is he trying to cult or something like that?" But for myself.
Well,
I would definitely be an experiment. Let's face it, Jacques Fresco's ideas need to have a model a role
Yeah,
model,
exactly.
and you're sounding
You've
like
got
you're really like that's a thought on it.
Yeah, he's got to prove. He's still got to. It's got to be proven. It's got to be played out. So in my mind, you'd first flick to the Austrian model, right? That'd be your transition. That'd help. See, the Austrian model halves your debt based on your demand deposits. Whatever your level of demand deposits in the banking system, that's the amount that it pulls your debt down. Now, if you can sue these Rothschilds for crimes against humanity, and there's a shitload of them, pull their resources back in, you're really starting to attack your debt problem, pulling that down. And so you're really starting to, lift the spirits of economies around the world. Now, if people are,
I'm talking about a scenario where you literally, they want to be like you. The Rothschilds are playing their money game, and you're in your desert area with all your retirees making an awesome city that they want to go to, and they're going to give up their money and their thoughts because you don't need them. You're growing your own food. You're content in your own. You know what I'm saying? Screw the Rothschilds. Screw all these guys that think that. Again, they're just protecting their own assets. They're doing what any capitalistic would do when you get to that.
That's what all people do. They protect the people they love and know.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we all do.
What they're also doing, without them really realising it, they're missing the life experience. So, from my understanding, the meaning of life is held in the experience. Now, I come from an aged care background, so I've worked in the aged care community. And the one thing that struck me about it was that the elderly people were being robbed of sensorial experience. And I thought, shit, what a horrible way to die. Wouldn't it be better if you created a facility that was founded on sensorial experience? So you had and engaged those people, even as they got...
I'm sorry, what was that movie with Robin Williams? Reminds me of that. The movie with Robin Williams, he did something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's where I got the inspiration.
Oh, which one? Which one was that?
But it's a big...
Was it Patch Adams?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, we never think of anything new. It's just it's a discovery process.
Right.
And when you the right stuff, people go, oh, like wisdom, right? Same phenomena. Like, oh, shit, that makes sense. But here's the thing, right? If you can age with experience, sensorial experience, now you think of the senses, right? So there's got to be nice fragrance, so that requires nice plantings around the facility, open sort of ventilation, it all flowing through. The food's got to be crisp and fresh and a delight to eat. That then engages the cook that's preparing it. The whole process just starts to work when you look at it from a sensorial experience point of view. The cook looks at the happy face that he's feeding, because in that moment, the taste of that food just livens people up when it's really properly done. Music, perhaps playing in the thing, because music can evoke such strong things. Nice vistas, set up the vistas. You see, to me, it just makes perfect sense. What I saw in the aged care facilities I work was a group of elderly people sitting near the door that was locked, by the way, and they just stared out into space. And
yeah, well, I hate to say it, when we're at that age, when we're at that stage in the game, we're going to have a lot more to be thinking about with all this new technology. As far as seniors staring at the door, their minds are, I don't know what they're doing, but
they're kind of used to that anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
They're kind of used to that. Doing this type of thing would be overwhelming.
Yeah, right. Imagine, yeah, you're right about that. And that's too.
So,
I have seniors that would do this kind of thing and be, but I know my father, he wouldn't be up for it. But there are seniors, 80-year-old people that are internet savvy.
Well, see, there's another aspect. I heard what you said then, right? What you would also do with this new community is you would make it a tourist destination, because think about this, right?
All right.
A lot of the reasons that an elderly person doesn't want to leave.
What's that Western world? What was that world?
Water world. But the reason people don't want to vacate their places is they don't want to lose that connection to their family. But if they actually thought about that, and they thought about, like what we're doing now, right? You could actually create an environment where they would get probably more experience than they currently enjoy with their family, set up properly using technology and making, you know, a resort that people really wanted to take the kids across to visit Gran and Pa sort of thing. You know, I think you could tackle it.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think
it's called Florida.
What is it? Sorry, John?
They call it Florida because Disneyland is right nearby.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Florida,
Where's that
Florida and back Australia.
Epcot, it's got a great, I don't know if you've seen that. I forget the name of the ride that you go and they're planting all kinds of stuff. They're all aquaponics and hydroponics and all kinds of real food. It's a ride that's growing real food right there, you know.
Yeah, brilliant. That's it, exactly. You know, so it's really about life and the experience of life and embracing it in the fullest possible way. And you see, at the end of the day, that's what meditation is. Because what meditation is, it's shutting the thinking brain down and just absorbing the experience of the moment and all the senses that are, you know, in that moment. You know,
well, I've been working this summer on hydroponics and aquaponics, and I have an idea that I think is going to blow the mind of so many people. We're talking 68 separate plants. It's a garden. You know, you've seen the window farms and all this, and they're trying to grow a tomato here and there. I'm talking about something that really you can put in your patio window on a winter day, and you can grow greens and all your seasonings for your gardening and stuff, for your cooking and stuff like this. With your fish, and if you want to put a finch or a parakeet in there for the that's going to be dropping the food into the system, which is going to be so totally self-sustained. You got to add a little water here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be totally self-sufficient.
So you're going to have an ecosystem inside your house,
right?
That's self-sustaining,
right?
And it's not going to be messy.
And it's not going to be messy. It's going to be. I can't wait to post it. That's why, John, when I was saying that my next YouTube is going to be Gardens of Distinction.
How? Okay, it's going to take a huge amount of energy, though. I mean,
it has been. It has been. Just the setup. But once the setup is set up, it's simple.
Gary, there's the answer to the energy one. I was just speaking. My daughter goes out with a young Asian guy, and I tell you, he's one of the smartest kids I've come across. And what he said is...
Rob, you didn't let Mark finish. I want to hear what Mark
was saying. I'm sorry. I just wanted to answer the energy thing. I just got excited.
I'll have, and this, you know, I'm talking to my loved ones, and they're saying, you got to patent this thing. And I'm thinking, you know what? All this information I got on YouTube, everything I ever learned was on YouTube, and I'm going to totally give it freely to everybody who can expand on it and do it. And this goes right to a solar panel that runs everything, because you don't need much to run the pump to do it all. It takes no energy, so you have these whatever fish you want. If you want it to be tilapia to eat or goldfish just for the manure part of it, aspect of it, you can do whatever fish you want. You can add turtles. You can add lizards.
Want plants, and that's it.
Well, that's the thing. Ultimately, that's the goal, is plants. I'm talking about 68. 68.
Okay, and that takes energy to grow them.
Right. And the energy,
a massive amount.
Right. Well, you're right. It takes sunlight for most of the part. It's finding a sunspot that you can have for the most of the day in your house. And if you have a sunspot in your house,
if you don't,
you can grow. You could put this. I don't have a name for it. You can put this system there, and you will have 68 places to grow lettuce, spinach, whatever you want to grow. You know, I mean, a tomato, you can grow a couple tomatoes. You know how they grow kind of crazy, but it's a 4x3, 5x5. It can be as long as you want, or as small as you want. It could be as many plants as.
I live in Canada, right? We don't have a very long growing season. How am I going to grow this stuff over the winter?
Hang on, Yuri.
Do you have a sliding? Oh, go ahead.
Can I just interject quickly? Just going back to this a friend
I
of
need
mine.
to set up UV lights and all that.
What he said is, and I don't know, you have to validate it, but you know, he's an honest sort of a guy. He said that they're developing a battery that actually has sort of like a tenor on it and sucks out something from the bloody atmosphere, and they've got to grow these things in series. But basically, the end result is you get this battery that never runs out of energy. And then he went on to talk about what they were doing with fusion and how they're using about 192, I think he said, lasers to actually create the fusion. Is it fusion? That's the holy grail, isn't it? Not fission.
Yeah, it's fusion.
Yeah, so he said that they're very close to that. Well, actually, I think he said that they've actually created the starter.
Look, I don't want a fusion reactor in my house to grow a plant.
No, listen, Yuri,
Okay, so
Yuri, what I'm talking about here, most people, especially my house here, it's built without having the sun in mind, which is kind of crazy in its own right when you think about it. But this garden I'm talking about, you have to have at least a patio, a window to put it in.
and you'd have to open the window.
No, I mean, if you have a sunroom, don't you? You know, if you had a sunroom with sun coming in all day long, you know.
I don't, but even if you did, the window would filter out the UV, and the plants need the UV. Like you need direct sunlight to grow a plant, not filtered through a window.
Yeah, even
that could be a flaw.
even if you don't have
in my idea then, because I see plants growing in my window. Even though there's a window, I see plants growing. So, but that's not fruit.
You can grow a few plants up here, but I'm not going to grow an orange here or anything like that.
No, what I'm talking about is vegetable type plants. I'm talking about basil. I'm talking thyme, lettuce, spinach.
Even basil I can't grow in the winter. Oh man, I'm trying.
If you had light going through a window, you could. I know you're saying something about the UV. You can grow basil in with a window, as long as there's light going through there. You're still getting rays from the sun, light.
Maybe where you live, you can.
Well,
I should be able to.
Wait. I used to work at Pillow Windows.
I'm sorry, Cerberus, what?
I said I used to work at Pillow Windows when I was in college, and not all windows. The UV blocking windows don't block all of it, so you can. It's not as good. But how are you going to deal with like when you get a big scale area that's windowed, like a sunroom? It tends to burn your plants. How do you intend to deal with that?
Well, it would be a little back. You know, if you have that much sun, it wouldn't be right at the window. It would be a little set back, I would imagine. So
it's it's not just that. They've tried these houses out in the desert.
Right.
They're trying to get UV light, so they're opening like their leaves like really wide, and they're trying to get it all. But instead, they're getting the heat and the sun, and they get burnt.
Yeah, and
like they need nutrients from the UV, like we take vitamins or whatever.
Right. Well, that could be my flaw then. I haven't grown anything yet, so.
Well, I mean, it's not your flaw. It's just like
it's just a bug to work out.
Right. Exactly.
Why can't I think of it? Greenhouses. Greenhouses are made of special glass to diffuse the light to keep your plants from burning. So you would have to redo your whole sunroom.
Yeah,
Right,
or you could use UV lights. Those would work too, if you can shield them from your eyes.
I mean, my vision is I have a slider that gets sun all day long, for the most part. So my vision is to have this 3x2 or 3x3 unit that has 68 plants, potential plants, growing hydroponically, aquaponically. And you know, I'm still right now. I'm doing aquaponics in my yard. My tomatoes are doing amazing. I'm just
in your yard,
away.
yeah. Maybe look how like a weed is grown in people's basements. Research that, and then you'll know kind of how to do the hydroponics inside.
Right.
Like that's a really good point to go look at.
I see most people are doing it in their basement, but I'm talking about a unit that's in your family room. That's something everybody's learning about growing, and a farm in your house.
Then look how people grow salvia or something like that, which people do have in their family rooms and outside.
What is it?
Salvia.
There are no gods.
Like so be it. I'll spell it. It's because it's not illegal like the weed is.
Well, I'm talking about food, lettuce and stuff. And you know what? I haven't done it yet, so I guess I shouldn't be so excited about it. But when it happens,
to us on that, Mark.
I'm gonna have to get back to you guys on that one.
Well, at least I guess a couple people have given you something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, I appreciate it.
Your idea might just only work in certain climates.
Well, I pictured in New York City, how everybody's trying to grow on the rooftops is where, and granted, this is only a certain time of year, and I know there's the pollution factor and all that, but there's this idea that I have would be perfect for the restaurant in New York who wants to get their fresh vegetables right off the top of their roof, and it's not that big once it's set up. It's easy to deal with,
Here's a thought.
It takes a lot longer to grow than it does to eat it. I've got a whole salad plant out, side in the summer. I can eat it, harvest it like once a month.
I hear you there. I'm thinking with 68 planters, you should be able to rotate, and when one's done, that's my thought on the matter, to have so many planters. But
but it doesn't Jacques. Doesn't he sort of build a model where basically everything's at the supermarket? If you want something, you go and get it. And what I liked about that idea I think he's a no money economy guy, isn't he?
No, but Jacques a money economy guy?
No, no money.
Jacques
totally no money. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So
Buckminster Fuller, Peter Joseph, they're all on the same sheet of music, like.
So basically, I think the model, as I understood it from what I saw, was that if you wanted something, you went to the supermarket. And that sort of makes sense, because why should we all, I think that we could be smart enough to actually mass produce all our requirements, and by doing that, what you then do is you get a consolidation of effort, and you also get the best effort in the production thing. So you don't, and you get time back as an individual. You don't have to worry about it.
And you save energy not having to package everything individually. I think his philosophy is you go to a place to eat for the main meal. Let's just say, like here in America, we have 3 meals that we're supposed to have: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's just say you have one big lunch that you go where everything is prepared at this one place, like a college dorm type thing, where you get your best meal there. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's there if you want to do it. So you bring all your produce, all your food to this one location where, let's use grammar schools that will be obsolete very shortly. Now that the internet can teach us anything at the click of a button, we're not going to need all these damn buildings. So we're going to need to do something with them. So each grammar school in my town has a district. So let's just say my grammar school is where we go and we all walk and fellowship or whatever there as a community, and we have lunch together, and you can have whatever you want at that moment in time. And then, because basically you really only need one major meal a day, and then you're stopping all the little, everybody's individually buying for themselves type thing. And granted, everybody wants to buy for themselves, but if we want to think for the long haul for everybody, I think we have to give up some things.
But you want to skip the meals?
No, I'm not give up meals. No, I'm not saying it like that.
Just once a day?
No, listen.
Are you gonna have the food police out there?
Wait,
quite often.
Wait, are you with Obama? Are you making death camps?
No. Oh. It's just a thought. There might be other different ideas that people have. It's just a way to get us. I hear you. But you know what I mean? What if? Have you ever ate at a college campus?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Or a military campus.
I was in college.
Yeah, well, I was in the military. I didn't go to college. So, military, the food is excellent.
Yeah.
It's well balanced and all that. Yeah, and it's hearty.
From an authentically selfless point of view, you just, and if you've got no ego issues, you're not really that fussed too much. Where your pleasure seems to come from, as far as I can tell, is from just the experience of life itself. So going to a community dining room would be a really enriching experience, assuming the quality of the food's spot on and it's well prepared and all of the rest. You like going out to a restaurant in a sense, or you can make it that way easy enough without too much expense. And then you get the efficiencies of having the food sources probably in that hub. So there's a lot of efficiencies that, you know, transport, freshness. You'd sort of, I would imagine you'd probably go to a model where you're forecasting probably annually your requirement, and then that turns into your labour, and then that defines how much work people do. That would set up an incentive, I would think, to reduce labour over time and become more efficient, because then you can take that time back to yourself to go to the beach or...
Right. Well, whatever the robot can't do. I mean, each time we'd try to figure out... We'd try to figure something mechanically. Yeah, every job that's kind of mundane would try to get a machine to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you can see scenarios like the Indigenous, right, where you spend your day maybe out in the wilderness for some reason, just enjoying the day, and dance would be a big part of it. You know, life would sort of switch from a drudgery to a bit of a, you know, celebration, I would have thought.
I think so, too. I think it can be done.
More raves, yes, more raves.
More what?
More raves.
Hey, we'd have more time for chats on YouTube. We could spend all day on it. Utopia.
Well, it's never a utopia because it's always about life is always about change and bettering. So it's, you know, utopia is kind of a nice thought, but I don't know if we'd ever get there because we'd always want to go further. We'd always want. I mean, isn't our ultimate goal to get to the stars? To get.
No.
You know, if this rock has an asteroid and is destined to be destroyed, I would like to think we have the capability of getting off of it and going to another planet.
Get our eggs out of one basket.
You know, right?
That's all wrong. What? Please. So again, the meaning of life is in the experience itself. What happens? You're fully satiated by the love that you get from your loved ones, your friendships. They're the most fulfilling things. Think about this for a minute. The dining experiences, the going out, the looking at nature, that fully satiates the human being and the experience.
Rob, most people don't, or a lot of people don't have a family or don't have a friend or whatever. They're alone in the world, and they do have a pioneer. Like, not everybody has the same mindset. They have a pioneering heart.
No, you're wrong too, mate. No, you're wrong.
What would satisfy them is to just look down on the planet.
No, Yuri, you're wrong.
Rob, sometimes pleasure gets from knowing that you're doing something for the future of your loved ones, your children's children. Isn't that so? Come on.
You guys are wild on that one. No, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
I think that I want to see us go to different planets. I want it to happen quickly.
Good luck to you, mate. But the thing is that I don't know that that's even achievable. But even if it is, when you got there, you'd be pining to come back home because we're creatures.
You say that, but what if you found something that's a planet similar to Earth? That's not even, that's.
Well, good luck, mate.
I'm just saying, you don't believe in such a thing?
But Mark,
not really. This is our environment. We are products of Earth. We're little hydrogen beings.
Yeah, Mark, we have to deal with that. We have to deal with reality, Mark. Because you know what? Let's go send a whole bunch of people to another planet, just like Earth, for what? They could just do.
I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but we should have the technology to at least.
We're not going to do it unless we get too
problem's
many
not the
people
planet.
here.
The problem's the people.
Yeah, the people. There's going to be way too many eventually, and then people will want to leave.
I don't think.
Well, there's a way of actually dealing with that too. If you think
we have way too many.
Or at least just learning about the universe. I mean, that'd be nice too.
Yeah. Oh,
And you could take your family with you, and you could experience the pure happiness of being with your family out in space. It doesn't really matter where you are or what you're doing.
It does, because our senses are built in this environment, and the things that you can just go into our nature right on Earth, and without any preempting, you will get an awesome experience just by being in that place. It's not an intellectual exercise.
You can get that from any place.
Yeah, from any place. Hey,
You can get that from the dead center of your
I don't believe you, mate.
Hey, Virgin Airlines. You can go. You're going to be able to go on a space flight soon for $250,000, and you can have an awesome experience going on. Go to the space station, whatever. Get a nice view of the Earth. It's supposed to be freaking phenomenal. That would be an awesome experience.
That would be an awesome experience. I agree with that.
Okay.
Because you're coming back.
But I want to come back home.
Oh, sure, you can do that, of course.
Yeah, but that's for you.
like
That's good.
Nah, that's for every
vacation for your family. Like going on vacation.
Reality.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of going to another planet and kicking its ass.
You human.
It's pioneering.
No, conquering.
Conquering empire. Take the Rothschilds with you and don't bring them back.
Who knows? Maybe there's.
I'm sorry.
Maybe there's little microorganisms. Yeah, thank you. Maybe there's little microorganisms in the cosmos that we're related to on a distant evolutionary tree, like in the cosmos. I mean, we're at home in the physical universe, so wouldn't it make sense to actually learn more about it and essentially how we're connected to it?
Sure, heck
It might make sense to an intellectual mind, but it won't make any sense to who we really are.
They won't make any sense to a 60-year-old. They make sense to a 20-year-old.
Oh,
Experience of those things.
When I was 20, I'd do it in a second.
I want to experience life with my long-lost space cousins.
Names. You have names? Names?
I mean, dude. Like there's a small little microorganism called like a water bear. That thing can survive the empty vacuum of space.
That's
tardigrade.
Yeah,
I'm not a water bear.
I mean, I think.
What's it called?
What's it called?
I think that'd be cool enough to like actually like take a look out in space, like actually see what's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a visit, I agree. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't take the risk though. I'd do the Virgin trip. I reckon that'd be brilliant.
I bet you saw Gravity. I bet you saw Gravity, Rob.
Hey? What?
Did you see Gravity?
I bet he saw Gravity. That's why he's like I'm not sure if I want to go out there. Well, you know.
But if that's what you're worried about, Rob, let me assure you, most things that would happen to you in space would happen so quickly you wouldn't know it happened.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? Hey? Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it. Oh dear. Funny.
No, but that's a good movie though. I like that one.
No, I didn't see it actually. I did miss that one, but I'll try and catch up on it.
My mistake. I didn't see it in 3D. I heard it was supposed to be really good in 3D.
Hey, you guys ever hear? You guys hear of G2G?
G2G.
The site G2G. You get like movies that are out on at the movie theaters today. Like,
what's it called? Quick.
Go.
Is this a legal site? We're not promoting. Just a disclaimer, since we're live, we are not promoting any kind of illegal activity or pirating.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're not really, but I'm just saying. For some reason, I type in G2G and I get all these movies that are like free.
Yeah, I type in YouTube and I get all these movies for free.
Yeah, but you're not going to get Gravity or.
No. I mean, I typed in G2G and I got geologist to geologist.
Can you post the link?
Did you do?
Post the link.
Let me get the link here. You guys are going to love it. You're going to thank me for this one.
Can I have a link?
I'm getting it right now here.
I can't. I'm getting internetslang.com.
Well, I didn't even try because I didn't even know how you spell it. With a J, with a G.
It's a G, just the letter G, the number 2, and then here it is. Here's the link right here.
Oh, okay. I put TO. G2.
See?
See?
Guys, this, it's somebody shooting the videos from, like, Seinfeld episode. They're shooting it from the theater or something, but sometimes it's really clear.
Oh, they're bootlegs.
Yeah, what?
Bootlegs online, huh?
You just
stopped buying from the Chinese lady for $5.
But I was, have you guys watched the Game of Thrones yet?
Yes. No.
Oh my God, you got to see that. It's amazing.
I read the book. There's a movie?
Oh, there's a series on HBO that's on
the series, yeah.
It's on this website?
Yeah, it's on G2G. It's great.
Because I hear Ruben he's always raving about it.
Yeah, it's a guy's show for sure. There's a lot of violence, a lot of SCX and all that good stuff.
SCX? You have to say SCX?
I don't know.
There's a lot of nudity.
It's like doing the God word. I got to say God or something like that. You know?
Is it a sin to say sex?
I don't know.
It's just a word.
I don't think there should be a sin to say any word. Like, why were words
that would be good in the adult world, but when you get small children, you don't want them going to say, "Hey, fuck."
You have small children listening to you right now?
No, not right now. I don't. But I'm just saying.
Why not? Why not? If it's destigmatized and it's not a bad word anymore, then who gives a shit? Let them say what they want.
Yeah. Do you have kids? Do you have children? You have children.
No, I don't.
You can have this argument with me, all right? But
no,
I don't want my kids going insane. First of all, it's not socially acceptable to everybody.
It's not socially acceptable. Exactly. Right. If it was socially acceptable, it'd be a different story.
Hey Yuri, would you want your 5-year-old with you in the supermarket, and then some other patron bumps into him, and he says, "Fuck you"?
Well, yes.
That would be fine.
Some words are they're not right to say. I mean, even
sure they are. Ooh, I can't say a word.
Oh God, I would fall over laughing.
Wow.
That's the stupidest idea anybody came up with. Oh, you can't say
it's not really when you think about it.
Doesn't it break the First Amendment? Come on.
Have you Googled the word
First Amendment?
FUCK on. I mean, that should give you some sign of when you just Google it on Google search and see what you find.
Google search what?
I mean, I'm talking about for little kids' minds, there's certain words you don't want them saying. You don't want them knowing about right away.
No.
Why?
You don't want them knowing them because you have deemed that they are socially unacceptable.
I deemed them rightly socially unacceptable, I feel.
If the whole world didn't deem them anything, that's just a word, then would you mind so much?
Possibly not.
It's an expression.
Where I live doesn't go like that.
Yeah, and this made-up thing that we have, it's a bad word.
I hear what you're saying, and I guess I could agree with you, but there's certain words that aren't right. First of all, if you call...
aren't right. No. There's certain words that your society thinks aren't right. Let's put it that way.
No, I think there's some varieties of like ways people talk that kind of piss me off. Like, okay, so you got... So I'm in a conversation. Say you're in a conversation, and like you're asking a guy a question, and he keeps saying like, "Let me thinking about it." I'm saying like, dude, every time we say "let me thinking about it," it makes me want to kill myself. So please stop saying "let me thinking about it." Say "let me think about it," and he say let me thinking about that. And I'm all like, okay, you're still gonna thinking about like a dumbass, and I'm all like, dude, come on, say it the right way. And I'm all like, we really need to put more emphasis on people like having coherent language. Like not being grammar Nazis, but like let's talk like we're fucking not, like we're not inept and like actually and like coherent.
but from where that person's from, that's how they talk, and you sound inept to him.
No.
No, that guy was winding the last guy up. So
I have no idea who you're talking
winding
about.
Wolf up, you know. So there was a behaviour behind the language. I think the golden rule should be, it's the same golden rule these religions use and spirituality uses. Says love thy neighbour. So it would be more respectful to probably not swear, I think, and that way you wouldn't be at risk of harming or offending anyone else. So that should be enough of a reason.
It's so true, and you know, even
Again,
hell,
it only
nobody
works. It
nobody
only
in my
works
family
if swear
believes in.
words are offensive.
No, well, then that's different, right? Because they expect, you know, or they accept it, and you know that you're not offending. But when you're at risk of offence, so
swear words are not offensive.
Yeah, but take it this way, Yuri, right? If I teach my kids to swear, even if it's just for amusement, but if I did that, what I'm doing to them, I'm probably doing them a disservice, because when they get out into the broader community and they swear, there might be someone there that's bigger than that takes offence, and they might find themselves in an awkward situation. So it's not wise for me
But I'm talking about swear words aren't offensive.
Yuri, I don't understand where you're coming
Yeah,
from.
but we live
It's
in a
funny
real
because what if
society is swear? You could say what you want. So swear words
but
are not
certain
offensive.
words are show what you're doing or whatever. So if, let's just say, for example, you know, I wonder. I don't know. It's I could get
Okay, let's say like a discriminatory word. Say like nigger or whatever to some guy. That was a word in the past that you could use to put somebody down. It's not a swear word though, but people say it all the time. So what's with that? Is that word better than fuck or worse than fuck?
Well, fuck is just a rude word. I think fuck is a rude word because I've been conditioned to think it was a rude word, but I think it's rightly been conditioned to be a bad word. I mean, it's like, it's like.
I think people should challenge their conditions.
No, but here's the thing. The simple solution is this, and this comes back to this idea of sin. You haven't created a sin. Well, I haven't heard anyone convince me of otherwise, but you haven't created a sin unless you do something that harms another person. So if your word, whatever it is, disrespects or is found offensive by another person, and you could use an alternative word, then it seems the right thing to do to choose to use the right word and not offend that other person for whatever reason,
Right, I totally agree.
Unless they're a pain in the ass, then you can say it to them and just, it's a way of paying. But
technically, you can say whatever you want to somebody, and you're not hurting them. It's their reaction is on their side of the lawn. Like it's their responsibility to react and interpret that in a way that suits them.
Right. I
if
hear
they
you.
want to blow up and do all this shit, then that's their problem. You can say whatever the hell you want, and you can't hurt them.
No.
It's their choice to take hurt in.
You can't say to the person, "I'd like to screw your wife," and you talk it to the husband. Those are words that are harmful, aren't they?
No, it depends how the husband takes it. The husband can take it anyhow he wants. He could take it seriously.
Oh, help
beat the shit
yourself.
out of it. Yeah, he could take it jokingly. I mean,
what do you expect him to say? Yeah, help yourself.
Yeah, right.
It's the husband's. It's on his playing field.
Let me get the video camera out.
Hey, watching this, I was only joking.
Basically, you're not responsible for how other people react.
I hear what you're saying. It's like
and you shouldn't be. You should have enough dealing.
But you are. Aren't you responsible to a way for what you say and thinking that how someone may react? Then wouldn't you be responsible a little bit? I mean, say if like you're gonna. I don't know how liberal you want to get, but if you're saying you're teaching your kid this bad language and this, and then they go into society like Rob was saying. I mean, having such language can can cost you getting work, even, you know?
Sure.
Right, if the society stigmatized bad language. But
yeah, but
in society,
it does, and so we have to have some kind of boundaries. Right now, we do. I understand what you're saying. Believe me, I just say the word shit, and I get help for it from my wife. Don't curse. I'm like, you know, and I get the same thing. It's not a curse word. It's shit, doo doo. It's crap. You know,
you shit it out every day.
It's not a curse word. A curse. How I see a curse word is when it's like when I say, not just like fuck, I hit to say stub my toe, but if I say fuck you, you know, I'm directing it at you. To me, that's cursing.
I don't know. In a society where it's not taken as an offensive thing. Oh, you want to fuck me? Oh, come on, my place. You know, whatever. Or unflattered, but unmarried. You know, that's how you react to that sort of thing. But if a guy gets all like, you know, up in your face about it, well then that's his problem, not your problem by saying fuck you. Like
well,
it's his mistake.
I wouldn't want my child cursing in the middle of a supermarket because then my kid might just get me into a fight with another parent, and you know what? You just don't want that happening.
In today's society, sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. So
I raise questions about
destigmatizing. When in Rome, do as the Romans do.
We have indoctrinated beliefs, you know, and are they all logical? Is a good question to ask.
No. But
Good night, guys.
It's cultural. You leaving, Mark?
Yeah, going to bed.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, ditto. Thanks for having me. It was fun, guys.
All right.
Rob, Rob, can't wait to look at your book.
Yeah, good on you, mate. No worries. Thank you.
Yuri, good night.
Good night, man.
Brother John, thank you very much.
No problem, man.
Over and out.
Sweet dreams.
Right, Yuri.
Right at that point, I think I'm going to stop the broadcast at that point since we have a low.
So have you read Goliath yet?